You know, when you hear the numbers, you get numb to it. You know, 200,000 plus people dying every year unnecessarily. But when you drill down on just one story, in this case, Leah's story, you can't ignore it. And it really wakes you up. I remember, I don't know, it was started at midnight, went to about 1:30 in the morning when I first met Lenore on email. And I started learning about what had happened. And in those emails, I think maybe we sent 50 of them, I don't know, 20 of them, something. I started discovering her daughter's surgeon was my daughter's surgeon. About the same time. Leah went into surgery 3-4 days before my daughter went to surgery. She's 12 now. And I have some unusual feelings about this. I feel guilty that I thank God that didn't happen to my daughter. I feel guilty about that. You know, of course I'm happy it didn't happen to my daughter. But this shouldn't happen to any of our daughters. They were the perfect family. They drove 50 miles from further north to this hospital that's considered one of the best hospitals in Southern California. They thought, as I thought, it's the safest hospital. And it's not the hospital's fault, and it's not the clinician's fault. So I want to just get that straight, but because this happens everywhere, right? But we chose these hospitals because we thought it's the best hospital. They drove their daughter to the hospital and then didn't drive back home with her. And her ex-husband, who, from what I've heard, would have been the father of the year. Maybe he would have won the award this year instead of President Bill Clinton. He couldn't talk to his other daughters for years. He shut down. He had this amazing career, like I do, right? And he shut down. He couldn't do it anymore. I think he was out filming The Last Samurai when all this stuff was occurring. And they lost their home, they lost their career, they lost their life savings. And and they lost their friends. I mean, this is the strange thing. Like, you know, we don't want to be around people that carry this weight. It's bizarre. And that adds insult to the real injury, that they lost their daughter, they lost their sister. And that could have been me. That could have been you. And it might be you. Now, I told you earlier also, you know, Peter and I were born the same day, and of course we're connected by that. But we're more connected by what we're here to do today. By the way, how many of you were born February 22nd, 1965? Okay, so obviously this is not some kind of a weird thing here, but we're really all here because we're connected by this issue. And we're here because we don't want to see this happen again. I have had a long speech, but for the sake of brevity, for the sake of moving this thing along, because we're here not to hear my talk, but to hear the recipes that we can all take back to our hospitals. As companies, we can take back to our companies, build the right things, make the right pledges. Just this morning, a wonderful friend and a very successful company CEO walked up to me saying, I'm making the pledge to share the patient data. So we're going to add that to the list today. And I want to thank you, Rick. But I got to tell you that, you know, today people have flown from all parts of the world. We got people from Saudi Arabia. We got people from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, from Baltimore, from Boston, from Rochester, from Salt Lake City, and some people, right, they just drove down here. And you guys have all come here because you want to end this. You know, this problem isn't going to be solved by heroism. It's going to be solved by us collectively, each one of us, leading the places we've come from to not ever let this happen again. It's that leadership that you all have to take with you. And you're going to, whichever commitment you decide to walk ahead with, and it should be all of them. And you know what? They're all important. And we all have to make them all important. But you're going to go home, you're going to go back to your institutions to lead the way, and you're going to be facing obstacles. You're going to be facing mediocrity. You're going to be facing apathy. You're going to be facing, unfortunately, people that just want to go home at 5. You know what? We all want to go home at 5. But we all want to go home, whether we have an hour left at the end of the day or 4 hours left at the end of the day, to know we made a difference. We did everything we could. And please don't let them discourage you. Because when you lead the way, they're going to love the results that they're coming up with you. It's going to inspire them. It's going to make them want to do more. It's going to make them love themselves more. It's going to make them love the people around them more. And it's going to make this place a better place. You know, we have, this is a moral imperative. This is a moral imperative that we solve these 200,000 plus deaths a year because we have the solutions for them. It's not like we have to go find the cure for the cancers that we don't know how to cure. There's no inventions left here. Folks, all we got to do is just have the will to lead. Have the will to say what? Not in my place. Not in my hospital. Forget the rest of the places. Forget the rest of the companies. Not at your place. And that's going to just explode in a wonderful way. And so we don't have another story like Leah. We don't have another story like Rory. I've had this big dream, and you know what? This is also the 50-year anniversary of when not only John F. Kennedy died, but also, of course, when his son died of preterm death. And he had this dream of sending a man to the moon within 10 years. And he inspired our nation to get there. And he knew it's not going to take money. Money won't do it. It takes passionate people that are willing to put themselves a little bit behind the cause. And you know what? And by doing it, they're putting themselves up on top of that wonderful feeling we get when we do something that's worthy. So you know what? I'm going to steal his line. I want to not have any more deaths in 10 years. But I want to actually have it in 7 years. Why not 2020? Why not make that the number? Why not have us all say, we can do it in 7 years? Because frankly, can we afford not to do it in next year? When next year, another mother has to bury her child. I mean, it should be today. But it can be done in 7 years. You know, last night, Dr. Thomas Deltner said that we have to pick a dream that's bigger than us. This is definitely bigger than me. This is definitely bigger than me. But it's not bigger than us. It's not bigger than you. I mean, I'm just awed by the people that have come here today. from the mothers who lost their children who come out here to tell the story. I mean, Lenore had not talked about this for a decade. The grief is too much. I know, God forbids this happened to me, I'd be a wreck. I wouldn't be out. I'd be lucky if I had her strength in 10 years. But she's out here not because of anything else, no other reason, but to try to stop this, to try to say, we can do this together, no more preventable deaths. So 2020, it's not that far away, but it's 1.4 million patients dying away. So are you with me? Thank you. Thank you so much.